It's amazing how small habits can lead to big changes. That was the thought that came to me one quiet morning as I stood in my kitchen, holding a jar of golden honey. Nothing fancy, just raw, natural honey. I wasn't expecting anything dramatic, but something told me to give it a try. So I took 1 tablespoon of honey, stirred it into a warm cup of water, and added it to my morning routine. Simple, right? No complex steps, no drastic changes, just 1 spoonful of honey each day. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I decided to stick with it for 30 days. I didn't skip a day, and I didn't overthink it. Just 1 tablespoon, every morning, added to my day. And what happened over those 30 days truly surprised me. In this video, I'm going to share everything I noticed, the small shifts, the bigger improvements, and most importantly, the science behind it. Now, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not claiming honey is a miracle cure, but as someone in my 60s, constantly looking for ways to maintain energy, improve sleep, digestion, and stay sharp, I can tell you this habit made a real difference. If you're someone who feels tired more often than you'd like, or maybe you're simply curious about how something so small could actually change your body, keep watching. What I'm about to share might be the most encouraging thing you hear all week. For me, it wasn't just about the honey. It was about the journey and discovering how something so simple could have such a profound impact. So let's dive into it and see what happened when I made just 1 small change in my daily routine. You might be wondering, why honey? Of all the possible health habits I could have tried, why did I settle on this golden natural substance? Well, the answer lies in its ancient history and the many benefits it offers that are only now being confirmed by modern science. Honey has been used for thousands of years, and it's one of the oldest natural remedies known to mankind. Ancient Egyptians used honey not only as a sweetener but also for its medicinal properties, applying it to wounds and using it to heal. Similarly, in traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda from India, honey was known to soothe coughs, aid digestion, and balance energy. People knew about honey's powerful effects long before we had the studies to back it up. They didn't need to see a scientific paper to know it worked. They could feel it in their own bodies. Fast forward to today, and science is catching up. What we now know is that honey contains a treasure trove of beneficial elements. It's packed with enzymes, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals, all of which can positively impact our health. But what really sets honey apart from regular sugar is its glycemic index. You've probably heard about glycemic index before, but let me explain it a bit more because it's important when considering how honey affects your body. Regular table sugar is what we call a high glycemic food. That means when you eat sugar, it rapidly spikes your blood glucose levels. Your body reacts by releasing insulin to process that sugar, and soon after, your blood sugar crashes, leading to feelings of tiredness, hunger, and irritability. But honey, on the other hand, has a lower glycemic index. This means it enters your bloodstream more slowly, providing your body with a steady supply of energy rather than causing those wild spikes and crashes that make you feel drained and sluggish. It's almost like switching from a roller coaster ride to a calm, smooth journey. The reason honey works so differently is because of the unique sugars it contains, like fructose and glucose. These sugars are absorbed at a much slower rate than the sugars found in processed foods, and some of the sugars in honey, like trehalose, even help slow the absorption of glucose further. This means your body gets energy in a more steady and controlled manner, and you don't experience the peaks and valleys that come with other sweeteners. What's more, honey doesn't just fill you up with empty calories. It's packed with important nutrients and plant compounds, like flavonoids, which are powerful antioxidants. These flavonoids help reduce inflammation, support heart health, and protect your brain, which makes honey much more than just a sweet treat. Now you might be thinking, that sounds great, but is honey really a health food? The answer is yes, when consumed in moderation. The key is replacing unhealthy processed sugars with something that actually benefits your body. And that's exactly what I was hoping to find out. Could something as simple as 1 tablespoon of honey a day make a meaningful difference? It turns out, the answer is a resounding yes. The science behind honey's benefits is supported by a growing body of research, and the more I learned, the more convinced I became. Honey's impact on our bodies goes far beyond just satisfying a sweet tooth. It offers numerous health benefits, especially when you replace it with processed sugars in your diet. You might be wondering, but isn't it still sugar? How is it different from the sugar I try to avoid? Here's the key: not all sugars are created equal. Processed sugars, like those found in soda, candy, and baked goods, are absorbed quickly into your bloodstream, causing spikes in blood sugar levels. This rapid absorption leads to a crash in energy, triggering cravings and irritability. Honey, however, is absorbed more slowly, providing a steady, controlled release of energy. This slower absorption is one of the reasons why honey is often recommended as a healthier alternative to refined sugars. Instead of the sudden crash you'd get from processed sugar, honey provides a steady stream of energy that doesn't leave you feeling drained or irritable. What's more, honey's ability to balance blood sugar and provide sustained energy is crucial for those of us getting older. As we age, our bodies don't handle sugar the same way they once did. Honey, with its unique combination of sugars, can help keep blood sugar levels in check, which is important for managing conditions like prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. Even if you don't have blood sugar concerns, maintaining steady energy levels throughout the day is key to feeling your best, especially as we get older and face the physical and mental challenges of aging. So, why did I choose honey for this experiment? Because it offers something that many other sweeteners simply can't. Honey provides a natural, sustained energy boost that doesn't come with the ups and downs associated with processed sugars. It's filled with nutrients that support heart health, reduce inflammation, and even protect your brain. And unlike other sugary foods, it doesn't leave you feeling drained and craving more. It's a simple, natural remedy that's been used for centuries, and now, science is showing us just how powerful it really is. After just 5 or 6 days into this habit, I began to notice something small, but significant. I wasn't reaching for snacks as much. You know that feeling when you walk past the pantry and your hand automatically reaches for something, even when you're not hungry? That urge started to fade. It wasn't a conscious decision, I just wasn't craving anything. I wasn't fighting the urge to snack anymore, I simply didn't feel the need to. And honestly, this was surprising, especially considering how much of a sweet tooth I've had for most of my life. After dinner, I'd often crave something sweet. A cookie, a piece of chocolate, or even a scoop of ice cream. It was my little way of winding down. I'd justify it by telling myself I deserved it or that it helped me relax. Sound familiar? But when I started taking honey in the morning, something shifted. It felt like that part of me that always craved something sweet was already satisfied. Just 1 tablespoon of honey in the morning seemed to quiet those cravings for the rest of the day. At first, I thought it was just a placebo effect. Maybe it was all in my head. But then, as I looked into the science, it made perfect sense. Honey interacts with hormones in your gut like PYY and GLP-1, which help regulate appetite. These hormones signal to your brain, saying, "You're good. You've had enough." Unlike regular sugar, which causes spikes in blood sugar followed by crashes that leave you hungry again, honey works differently. It helps stabilize blood sugar levels, reducing those dips in energy that lead to cravings. So instead of constantly reaching for something sweet or unhealthy, I felt more in control of my appetite. Fewer cravings, more stability, and it was all from that 1 simple spoonful of honey in the morning. By the time I hit the 2-week mark, I started noticing something else, a significant improvement in my energy levels. Before I started this honey habit, I'd often wake up feeling sluggish. I'd pour myself a cup of coffee or 2, but by mid-morning, I'd crash. Sometimes I'd feel shaky or lightheaded between meals, especially if I forgot to eat on time. My body seemed to be constantly trying to catch up with my blood sugar. But with honey, I felt different. The energy was more consistent, more even throughout the day. My mornings felt calmer, and I wasn't experiencing those mid-morning crashes anymore. It was like my body was running on slow-burning fuel instead of bursts of quick energy followed by a crash. The science behind this steady energy is in the way honey works in your body. Honey contains a blend of natural sugars, such as fructose and glucose, which are absorbed more slowly than the sugars in processed foods. One of the key sugars in honey, called triallose, helps slow the absorption of glucose, which means your body gets energy in a more controlled way. And there's more to it. Honey has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity over time, especially when it replaces processed sugar in your diet. This is important for anyone, particularly those dealing with prediabetes or managing blood sugar levels. While honey is still a form of sugar, it provides a much gentler, more sustainable way to fuel the body. But the most surprising benefit I experienced, which I didn't expect at all, was a noticeable reduction in stress. About 3 weeks into this honey habit, I had a moment of realization. I was sitting on my porch, sipping tea, just enjoying the quiet of the morning, and I felt different. My mind wasn't racing, my shoulders weren't tense, and I felt calm in a way I hadn't in a long time. Now, stress is something I know well. Like most people my age, I've dealt with my fair share of stress over the years, raising kids, managing a career, dealing with health issues, and just trying to make sense of a rapidly changing world. But with honey, it felt different. I wasn't constantly on edge. I was more relaxed and able to handle life's challenges with a clearer, calmer mind. The science suggests that honey can influence the HPA axis, the part of our body that controls the stress response and regulates cortisol, the stress hormone. Too much cortisol can cause issues like high blood pressure, anxiety, and poor sleep, but honey seems to help lower cortisol levels. It does this through its powerful antioxidant content. When your blood sugar is stable and your cortisol levels are balanced, your mood improves too. For me, this translated into fewer anxious mornings, less emotional reactivity, and more peace of mind throughout the day. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, I felt calmer and more able to face the day with a steady heart and mind. So, as I approached the end of my 30-day experiment, I had noticed several benefits that I hadn't expected. Not only was I feeling more energized and emotionally stable, but I was also experiencing fewer cravings and a greater sense of calm. All of this came from just one simple change in my routine, that 1 tablespoon of honey each morning. It wasn't a magic cure, but it was a gentle, natural way to support my body and improve my overall well-being. And the best part? It was simple, easy, and something anyone can incorporate into their own routine. As the days went by, the changes I experienced were more than just noticeable, they were truly eye-opening. One of the first benefits that really stood out to me was a subtle but real shift in how my body felt. After about a full month of incorporating honey into my daily routine, I realized something I hadn't expected. My pants were fitting just a little bit looser around the waist. Now, it wasn't dramatic, but it was certainly noticeable, especially when I compared how I felt at the beginning of the month to where I was now. This wasn't just a coincidence, and it certainly wasn't just the honey alone that did the trick, but there was definitely something about adding this simple habit to my mornings that seemed to make a difference. What fascinated me the most was that I hadn't changed anything else in my diet or exercise routine. I wasn't doing any special exercises, and I hadn't started any new restrictive diet. It was just the addition of that tablespoon of honey every morning. So naturally, I started wondering what might be happening inside my body. What I discovered gave me even more motivation to keep going with this habit. Here's what I learned. Honey has a special connection with stress hormones, particularly cortisol, which plays a major role in the storage of fat, especially the kind of fat that accumulates around the belly, known as visceral fat. This type of fat, unlike the subcutaneous fat you can pinch on your skin, is deep within the abdomen, surrounding the organs, and it's strongly linked to heart disease, diabetes, and inflammation. When your body is under stress, cortisol levels rise, and cortisol loves to store fat. But here's where it gets interesting. Honey seems to help lower cortisol levels, which can naturally prevent the accumulation of belly fat. You see, cortisol isn't always a bad thing. It's a hormone your body uses to respond to stress, and in short bursts, it's essential. But when it's chronically high, which often happens in today's fast-paced world, that's when the body starts to store fat, particularly in the belly area. The fascinating part is that by helping to lower cortisol levels, honey can reduce the fat storage process. And while it may not melt belly fat overnight, the steady reduction in cortisol levels makes it easier for the body to let go of that excess fat over time. As I continued taking honey each morning, I noticed that the more I felt at ease, physically and emotionally, the less stressed I felt. With less stress came a reduced appetite for comfort food. I wasn't reaching for sugary snacks late at night or overindulging in meals as I sometimes had before. That steadier appetite, combined with better blood sugar regulation, meant that my body was storing less fat and using it more efficiently for energy. Another unexpected benefit I began to experience was a noticeable reduction in inflammation. For those of us in our 60s or 70s, inflammation can become a constant issue, affecting everything from our joints to our organs. Over the years, the wear and tear on the body adds up, and this often results in chronic inflammation that we might not even notice at first. I had dealt with some joint pain, particularly in my knees and hands, but after consistently using honey every morning, I realized that I wasn't feeling as stiff as I had before. Simple tasks, like bending down to tie my shoes or going for a walk in the morning, became easier. The stiffness that used to greet me every morning was no longer as intense, and I felt a new sense of freedom in my movements. The science behind this improvement in inflammation is found in the natural compounds in honey, particularly the flavonoids and polyphenol, which are powerful antioxidants. These compounds are known to help reduce the chemical markers of inflammation in the body. For example, studies have shown that honey can lower the levels of certain molecules like tumor necrosis factor alpha and interleukins, which are key signals that cause the body to go into an inflammatory state. By decreasing these markers, honey helps your body calm down and heal from the inside out. And what's more, honey seems to do this in a gentle, natural way that doesn't come with the side effects of pharmaceutical treatments. After a full month of this daily habit, I also noticed that my energy felt more sustained throughout the day. While I wasn't expecting honey to be a magic bullet, I was pleasantly surprised by how my body responded. With a reduction in cortisol, a more stable appetite, and a less inflammatory response, my body seemed to function better overall. The discomfort I had previously felt in my joints became less noticeable, and I moved more easily. I also noticed that my energy wasn't as erratic, and I felt more at ease in my body. It was like my body was finally starting to function in a more balanced way. In the end, this whole experience left me with a sense of relief. The pain that had accompanied my joints, the bloating that had lingered after meals, and the extra weight that clung to my midsection seemed to all be gradually improving, and it was because of that one simple change: a spoonful of honey every morning. And while honey won't solve everything, it became a reliable, natural ally that helped me regain control of my body, my health, and my energy. So, after a month of daily honey, I can say with confidence that the benefits are real. They may not have come in the form of a quick fix, but they've come in the form of sustainable, gradual improvements that I feel deeply in my day-to-day life. And for me, that's a gift. After 30 days of incorporating honey into my daily routine, one of the most unexpected yet rewarding outcomes was the improvement in my heart health. Now, like many of us, I'm vigilant about my cholesterol levels. I get regular checkups, try to maintain a healthy diet, and do my best to avoid medications. But even with all my efforts, the numbers on my cholesterol test weren't always where I wanted them to be. My HDL, which is the good cholesterol, could definitely be higher, and my LDL, the bad cholesterol, needed to come down a bit. I had become accustomed to these fluctuations, but I still hoped for a better result. Imagine my surprise when I went for my follow-up test after a month of adding honey to my diet, and the numbers had shifted in the right direction. My HDL levels had increased, my LDL had decreased, and most surprisingly, my triglycerides were lower as well. This wasn't just a small change, it was a noticeable improvement, and it left me wondering how this happened. To find out, I dug deeper into the research, and what I found made sense. Honey has a unique way of influencing lipid metabolism. It contains natural compounds that are believed to help the body process and remove fats more efficiently. One of these compounds, niacin-like substances, seems to support the body in managing fat storage and breakdown. Furthermore, honey's powerful antioxidant content plays a crucial role in reducing something called oxidized LDL, which is the harmful form of cholesterol that can stick to artery walls and contribute to plaque buildup. This is one of the key culprits behind heart disease, and reducing oxidized LDL is a significant step in improving heart health. In fact, studies have shown that honey consumption is linked to better lipid profiles, with improvements in both HDL and LDL cholesterol. The benefits were most noticeable when honey was used to replace processed sugars in the diet, which is exactly what I had done. Instead of filling my morning coffee with sugar, I swapped it for honey, and instead of reaching for sugary snacks throughout the day, I made honey a part of my regular routine. Now, I'm not saying honey is a cure-all for cholesterol problems, and I definitely wouldn't recommend relying on it as your only solution. However, what I experienced was a gentle and natural way to support my heart health, without having to rely on medication or drastic dietary changes. It felt like a small but impactful change that made a big difference. Knowing that something as simple and natural as honey could have a positive effect on my cholesterol levels was both encouraging and motivating. It gave me the confidence to continue using honey as a tool to support my health long-term. And that's not all. Honey has also been shown to have a powerful impact on the immune system. This was another unexpected benefit that I discovered halfway through my 30-day honey experiment. As we get older, our immune systems can start to weaken, making us more susceptible to colds, flu, and other illnesses. But during the entire 30 days of adding honey to my diet, I noticed something remarkable. I didn't get sick once. Not even a sniffle. While everyone around me seemed to be catching colds or dealing with seasonal allergies, I felt strong and healthy. At first, I thought I might just be lucky, but then I remembered something I had read about honey's natural immune-boosting properties. Research shows that honey contains a variety of antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal compounds that help protect the body from harmful pathogens. One of these compounds, methylglyoxal, MgO, is especially concentrated in Manuka honey, a variety from New Zealand that has been praised for its high antibacterial properties. The fascinating thing about honey is that it doesn't just fight off illness in the short term, it also helps build up your immune defenses over time. By feeding the good bacteria in your gut, honey helps support the body's natural defenses. Since a large portion of the immune system resides in the gut, strengthening your digestive system can have a profound impact on overall immunity. The prebiotic properties of honey mean that it helps maintain a healthy balance of gut bacteria, which in turn helps protect against illness and inflammation. But the benefits don't stop there. Honey's antioxidant content is also believed to help regulate the immune system, preventing it from becoming overactive. This is important because chronic inflammation, often driven by an overactive immune response, is linked to many age-related diseases, including arthritis, heart disease, and even cancer. By helping to balance the immune system, honey can play a role in reducing unnecessary inflammation and promoting overall health. For me, this was a game changer. Not only did I feel healthier, but I also noticed a greater sense of vitality. I had more energy, I felt more focused, and I wasn't dealing with the seasonal sniffles that often come with the colder months. And as someone who has spent years putting others first and worrying about my own health, this was a welcome reminder that taking small, simple steps to nourish my body can yield big, lasting benefits. So when it comes to supporting your heart health and boosting your immune system, honey isn't just a sweet treat, it's a natural, powerful ally. Whether you're looking to improve your cholesterol levels, protect your heart, or keep your immune system strong, honey is an easy and effective way to make a positive change in your life. Now, you may be wondering, how can you start incorporating honey into your daily routine? The good news is, it's simple, and it doesn't require any special skills or complicated recipes. Let's break it down into manageable steps so that you can enjoy all the benefits that honey has to offer, just like I did. First things first, you want to make sure you're using the right kind of honey.
Raw, unfiltré donné is what you should be looking for.
This is important because raw honey retains all of its natural nutrients, enzymes, and antioxidants. Unlike processed honey, which is often heated and filtered, raw honey contains all the healthy compounds that give it its healing properties. These enzymes are what make honey such a great natural remedy, and they can be destroyed during the high-temperature processing that most commercial honeys undergo. If you can, try to find honey that is local to your area. Local honey is often fresher and may even help with seasonal allergies. This happens because local honey contains small amounts of pollen from your region, which your body can slowly build a tolerance to, possibly helping to reduce allergy symptoms over time. Keep in mind, though, that the research on this is still ongoing, but it's something that many people swear by. If you're looking for the gold standard, you might want to consider Manuka honey. Manuka honey comes from New Zealand and is known for its high concentration of methylglyoxal, MgO, a compound that gives it strong antibacterial properties. It's a bit more expensive than regular honey, but the health benefits are well worth it if you're looking for something that packs a punch. Manuka honey has been studied for its ability to fight infections, improve gut health, and even support immune function. But regardless of the type of honey you choose, one of the key things is to stick to a consistent routine.
Don't overcomplicate it.
The idea is to make honey a simple and easy part of your daily life. I personally took 1 tablespoon of honey every morning.
Yes, just 1 tablespoon.
That's it. You don't need to take more to see benefits, and if you're sensitive to sweetness or watching your blood sugar, even just 1 teaspoon a day can provide you with many of the same advantages. The best time to take your honey is in the morning, ideally as soon as you wake up. I found that this was the most effective time because it helps to jumpstart your metabolism and set the tone for your energy levels throughout the day. You can mix it into warm water or herbal tea if you prefer a soothing start to the day. Just make sure that the water isn't too hot. If the water is too hot, it can destroy some of the beneficial enzymes in the honey. Keep it warm, but not boiling. If you want, you can even drizzle it over a bowl of oats or yogurt for a quick, easy, and healthy breakfast. One of the things I loved about incorporating honey into my routine is its versatility. You don't have to be restricted to just mixing it with water. You can add it to smoothies, drizzle it over pancakes, or use it as a sweetener in your favorite recipes. The key is to keep it simple and make it part of your daily routine. If you're concerned about blood sugar, especially if you're diabetic or monitoring your blood glucose levels, it's always a good idea to check with your doctor before adding honey to your diet. Even though honey is healthier than processed sugars, it's still a form of sugar, and you want to make sure it fits with your health needs. But for most people, honey is a great natural option to replace refined sugars and sweeteners. Also, keep in mind that honey should never be given to children under 1 year of age. Honey can contain botulism spores, which can be harmful to infants since their immune systems are still developing. So, it's essential to wait until they are older to introduce honey into their diet. Once you've chosen your honey, started taking it in the morning, and established your routine, remember, consistency is key. It's not about the dramatic changes that happen overnight. It's about the cumulative effect of these small daily habits. Over time, you'll notice subtle but significant improvements in your energy, digestion, and even emotional stability. Stick with it for at least 30 days. Don't worry about expecting a miracle right away, but trust the process. When you commit to this simple habit and give your body the fuel it needs to thrive, you'll be amazed at the results that start to unfold. Honey is a simple, easy addition to your routine that doesn't require expensive supplements or complicated systems. It's a natural, time-tested tool that can help you feel more energized, balanced, and connected with your body. So why not give it a try? A spoonful of honey every day, just one small step that could make a big difference in how you feel. That's it. A straightforward way to get started with honey. Now, it's up to you to see how your body responds. Try it out for a month, and let me know how it goes. And if you find that honey makes a positive impact, I encourage you to share it with others. Let's build a community of people who believe in simple, natural solutions to health and wellness. After 30 days of incorporating just 1 tablespoon of honey into my daily routine, I can honestly say the results were not just noticeable, but remarkable. The benefits went beyond what I had expected. I noticed fewer cravings, especially for sugary snacks, which used to be a constant struggle for me. My energy levels became more stable, with no more afternoon crashes or shaky moments, just steady, consistent energy throughout the day. Mentally, I felt clearer and calmer, and my digestion improved. I no longer experienced the bloating or discomfort I used to have after meals. Even my joints felt more flexible, with less stiffness and pain, which was a huge relief. It wasn't dramatic, but the difference was enough to make me realize how much this small change had positively impacted my life. Of course, honey didn't work miracles. It wasn't a magic fix for everything, but it did help me feel more balanced and in tune with my body. And for someone in their 60s, that kind of stability and health boost is priceless. It reminded me that taking care of ourselves doesn't need to be complicated or expensive. Sometimes, the simplest habits can make the biggest difference. So, I challenge you to give it a try. Just 1 tablespoon of raw, unfiltered honey each morning for 30 days. See how your body responds. Notice the changes in your energy, your mood, your digestion. And when you do, come back and share your experience with me. Let's keep this conversation going and support each other in living healthier, more vibrant lives. Because, at the end of the day, small, simple steps can lead to incredible transformations. Stay strong, stay curious, and as always, stay kind.